You're listening to DraftKings Network.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon Prime. There's nothing sweeter than baking cookies during the holidays. With Prime, I get all my ingredients delivered right to my door, fast and free, no last-minute store trips needed. And of course, I blast my favorite holiday playlist on Amazon Music. It's the ultimate soundtrack for creating unforgettable memories. From streaming to shopping, it's on Prime. Visit Amazon.com/Prime to get more out of whatever you're into.
When you check out at the pharmacy, you see the journey from idea to medicine, thanks to our intellectual property system, or IP for short. IP safeguards inventions, like a new way to prevent seizures or lower cholesterol. And IP supports competition from other brands, then lower cost generics, which are 90% of prescriptions filled in the US. Innovation, competition, lower costs, thanks to IP. Learn more at phrma.org/IP works wonders.
Stugotz, I don't know about you, whether you have like a bit of an antenna for when something in the future might go wrong, but Billy as a bellwether for whether or not we're doing the wrong thing. When Skeptical Billy makes an appearance, I get a little worried about things we're doing, and we're doing a toy drive for the next 3 days. That seems like a nice thing. Just give some kids some toys. It's an easy way to make them happy. Our audience is very giving and has money. Our audience has money and usually shows it in instances like this. But Billy doesn't think we're doing this right because...
Hold on a second. Falsehoods. What are we doing?
Well,
Leading the witness here. Exactly. What happened is exactly right, Stugotz. What happened here?
I just thought that perhaps you thought that Tony featured as a toy drive person. You thought that we're not putting him in a position to succeed because he's Tony and because of some of the details involved with what we're doing today.
Well, I mean, can I share the details? It's on, like, the DL, isn't it? Well, I mean, we might as well. I mean, we need people to go donate toys. So can I share the details that I am aware of?
Yes, because we are asking people to help us here with unwrapped toys, and it's we got a late start on this, so
Christmas snuck up on us.
We're jostling the calendars.
It's like the Super Bowl.
Yeah, the same every year. It's the same place every year, but it sneaks up on us. I saw poor Fuentes in the eating area, and he was just lamenting that he's like, Dan, Christmas sprint. I haven't bought all the gifts. Nobody's fault but my own. Just muttering under his breath about the Christmas sprint.
Are you sure that was Fuentes? Because he's not one to take accountability for not remembering things.
Right. Well, it's that time of year, Dan. I mean...
He
That's
looked,
what people say.
He looked sour, and I went up to him, and I don't often do this. I'm like, are you okay? Is everything okay? And he's like, yeah, you just caught me thinking about the Christmas sprint and all of the stresses involved. But we're trying to alleviate some of the holiday stresses. This is a real easy transaction. You bring us a toy, and we take it and make a kid happy with it. Like, it's a super easy way to do this. And we're at Flanagan's this morning. Tony is, Cuban Santa. It's at 2721 Bird Avenue, Coconut Grove, right in the Grove, the heart of everything we do.
This is a two birds kind of situation. You go get a toy, hop over there around 11, drop off the toy, get some lunch, boom.
Well, the thing is, though, is that we're there at 10, and I don't think the restaurant's even open at 10. And there's also
11.
Two Flanagans there, right? There's the restaurant, and then there's, like, Big Daddy's. Like, are we outside of Big Daddy's or are we outside of Flanagan's? Because, like, the locations...
Big Daddy's is Big Daddy's.
Come to a bar and give us a toy at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday. It's kind of like, do people have toys in their cars that are going to be at a bar at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday, or are we sending people in hope that they're not working? And in which case, are we asking unemployed people to give us toys at a bar on a Tuesday? Like, these are just maybe the locations. Because, like... we're going to send people to a trap house next? What are we doing?
If you're a parent like me and you've gotten your kids way too much crap, take one of theirs. Give it away.
Flanagan's is not a trap house.
No, I know. I didn't say it was.
It is one of the most delightful places in all of South Florida. The next 2 days, we'll be doing this toy drive at Vivo at Dolphin Mall. They've been very supportive lately. And so we will have a different part of Miami where we can go get toys. And you can also just drop them off here at the Elser, because we've got a place here, Corner Coffee, that's open from 7 a.m. to 2 every day if you can't do it right now.
Do they know we're doing it?
Yes, they would need to know we're doing this. It's a good question. It's a good question you're asking.
Yes, that Flanagan's, by the way, is legendary.
Yes,
there's a good chance that Tony walks into that place and there are people still there from last night.
Yes,
I'm telling you
that Flanagan's taught me. It brought me gently into adulthood. that Flanagan's. It walked me right into adulthood, just allowing me to drink.
You see things in there,
When
man.
I was in college and after college, and they allowed me to enter adulthood in a way that was jostled me less than it might have otherwise if I didn't have chicken wings in front of me.
The problem, though, is like Tony likes Flanagan, so there's also the chance that like Tony forgets the mission that he's on, and he's just hanging out at Flanagan's.
Well, you mentioned it might not be open, which is a
that I'm gonna look up the hours.
it's a hole in our plan because go.
I mean, I don't know if Flanagan's is famous for their breakfast. That's the only
I think
question.
I think it's pretty good. I hope they're open by noon so we can tell people stop in, bring a toy, have lunch. I don't know whether they are or not.
They open at 11 at the latest.
It says
Guys.
closed
Lunch menu.
right now.
Yeah.
Opens at 11.
Thank you.
So he'll be there for an hour pre-open if you guys want to pre-game there in the parking lot. Maybe stand in line for tailgate for the opening.
Toy gate. There's
Yeah.
a toy gate. There's a toy gate. We're doing a toy gate right now at Flanagan's. Who wants to come to party with Cuban Santa? And
I'm
that's
gonna look to see what time Big Daddy's opens though.
Never closes. I mean,
you can also meet that songbird rose. Lucy finds no one in the world more delightful than that songbird rose.
Depends on the day.
You are so amused by her inability to say the name of that Italian alleged murderer of CEOs, Luigi Mangione. I've rarely seen you as happy as I saw you yesterday when you were staring at Rose's complete inability to say that name.
Look, the way she was saying it wasn't like she just was like not able to pronounce it. She kept giving him the first name Jimmy. And I was like, Rose, his name is Luigi. And then we'd say, his name is Luigi Mangione. How do you say it? And she'd say, Jimmy.
All right, let's start with that because she's producing Tony. We'll start there.
It's the holidays, a time for peace, for love, for presents. And do I have one for you? It's Poppy's 50 Shades of Christmas. You're welcome.
Christian trails a spoonful of ice cream down the center of my body. He kisses each of my breasts and each of my nipples hard. My mouth is already open from panting. I open wider and he slides a large cool metal object between my... Sitting beside me, he gently pulls my sweatpants down, up and down like a horse drawers. He flexes his hips, so he pushes against me. Yes, right there. In the bathroom, it is all hot and steamy. I strip off my clothes and quickly clamber into the shower, and I hold up my face into the welcoming torrent. I want Christian Grey.
Thank you, Poppy. See, Greg, that's how it's done.
Michelangelo's David has nothing on him.
Es suficiente, Poppy. Okay, time to start the show.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugatz.
All right, listen, Metalark Media, I didn't want to have to do this in public in front of everybody, but only I get to exploit my father.
Huh.
Everyone else, you need to knock it off and you need to check with me before you do that. Like, you can't make, I get to do it. I get to do it. No one else. Did
Right.
it for 10 years on ESPN. That gives none of you that permission. I'm looking at you, Mike Bryant. You didn't tell me you were doing that. You didn't tell me you were voicing that. I exploit my father, no one else. ESPN rented that accent for 10 years. It's retired now. It is done with its exploitation.
To be fair, this was pre-existing exploitation.
I'm talking about the cartoon graphics and you adding sensual voice to it, and you
that was AI.
When I exploited him then.
Iverson.
I exploited him then. I'm allowed. ESPN needed some help with the Hispanic demographic. Still does. Good God. Good God. Feel free to have some Hispanic people on air. Needed help.
Huh.
And what happened after that? Dad held out. He was bluffing. He didn't know how to tell his son he wanted to retire. ESPN gave him a raise, called his bluff, then he was confused, and then he went flat crazy. And that's how he quit the show. And that's what that exploitation did. So I've learned my lesson, and I would like for you not to do that anymore.
Speaking of that graphic we put up there for the toy drive, there was a Christmas tree with the Star of David at the top of it. I mean, That's how we're doing it. I mean-
Inclusive. Inclusive. What's the problem with that?
You're welcome.
What's the matter with that?
I mean, you got a whole tree. I got a little star at the
Hanukkah
top.
also starts December 25th, does it not? Hanukkah starts December 25th?
Look at you. I mean, 8 crazy nights.
I'm looking at everyone here asking. No one seems to know except for...
it does.
Okay.
Late this year.
That's correct.
So yes, a Star
whammy.
A Star of David. Now, Tony is at this toy drive at Cuban Santa, and Billy informed me through giggles during the break that Big Daddy's opens at 7 a.m., baby. So if you want to get your party on right now.
Yep.
7 a.m. to 3 a.m.
If you want to get your
Never
party
closes.
On,
Well, 3 to-
no, it does.
It doesn't close at
From 3 to 7.
Trust me, I live there. It doesn't close at 3.
From 3 to 7.
Trust me.
Look.
live there.
Look,
Listen, it's a sign. It says it on the door. They're not closed,
look,
okay?
We all saw that you had your never closes lined up before Billy said his 7 to 3, and you were going to get that shot off no matter what. You stopped listening right there.
I did.
Tony is at Flanagan's. He is. This is the legendary Flanagan's, is it not? This is the one that brought me to adulthood in college, and we're collecting toys there. And we're going to be doing it today until noon. We're doing a toy drive, a Tony drive. And Rose is also there. And Rose cannot pronounce the name of the alleged CEO murderer, Luigi Mangione. Let's go out to Tony at Flanagan's and let's tell people, motivate them over the next 3 hours to get out there and bring a toy or several toys. These are the kinds we're asking for, Stugotz, because we're going to want, what an easy way to use this platform to just make kids happy right here in our city, the city we're celebrating 20 years in, and we haven't done quite enough of this over the 20 years where we're just giving back because it's a good time to do it. So balls and equipment, dolls, Barbies, remote control cars, Nerf toys, board games. You can bring more than one. Jewelry, craft kits, perfume, cologne. Lucy was confused by that one. Perfume and cologne. Because I could see Stugotz like smuggling some toys and taking them home and doing some Christmas, some early Star of David shopping.
Thinking about it with the Nerf balls. I mean,
I thought the perfume cologne was odd, but then I used some context clues. I feel like a lot of these toy drives, everyone always gets the little kids stuff, but there are, high school, middle school students who probably want like Drunk Elephant Sephora stuff. So maybe bring some of that too.
But the perfume cologne is under the elementary school
Yeah, that's
list.
odd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Weird.
think they meant to put it there.
I have a question for all of the fans out there as we're learning, about the toy drive. So is it ending when the show ends, or can they go to Flanagan's later in the day and we'll collect it later if we're not there?
10 to 12 at Flanagan's.
Oh.
You can do, 7 to 2 p.m. right out in our corner at the corner coffee store at the Elser.
That's right, at the Elser. You seem a little rattled, Chris. Are you okay? Is everything okay? Or you got everything under
there's a
control?
lot going on.
There's a lot of defense being played
Yeah.
about what, like.
No, it's
what we're
not
doing
defense.
today,
It's
so I'm
information. And guys, people are at work at this time. If they want to help after they get out of work, I'm trying to find out if there's a way for them to do so.
Chris, I told you that I was met with Skeptical Billy, and Skeptical Billy has a way of undermining some of these things before they get started.
you're
You
at
may
work-
have noticed his work over the last 20 years.
If you're at work
Also,
right now and you can't do it today,
Quit.
we're going to be at Vivo Mall the next 2 days.
Attaboy.
So if you have time then,
That's
and if you
right.
can't get in that window, the whole week you can come to the Elser at the corner coffee store between 7 and 2 p.m.
Look, I believe this is, let's have a group meeting here. We don't do very much of this.
All right.
I believe we take for granted slightly, just because it's such an overwhelming thing, that our audience always shows up when we ask them to. It's not, and I'm not saying that we actually take it to, that we all spend our time taking it for granted. We cannot appreciate enough the way our audience, every time summoned, helps with something like this. Every single time. It is without fail. And so it's not something that I can articulate well enough after 20 years in, Stugotz.
Right.
What a power it is to have with the platform. Hey, let's do something good here over the next 3 days. Where it's hastily put together, that's my fault. Flanagan's today and Vivo Dolphin Mall the next couple of days. We're trying to get a lot of toys. You can bring more than one toy.
How about cash?
You can bring gift cards. See, I'm worried about Stugotz and the gift cards. Like, if they bring the gift cards back here, all of a sudden Stugotz is going to do his holiday shopping in our bin meant for others.
What about heaters? I mean,
He doesn't have kids of this age, but I can see Stugotz on eBay all of a sudden selling Legos.
Legos are expensive.
they are.
crazy expensive.
That's the ones he would go steal. Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Are Legos crazy expensive? I'm going to go out to Tony out there in a second, but I wanted to circle back on something we were talking about yesterday because it's been kind of fun to see, like, for college football to get to its exciting time in the new age and hand a trophy to one of the losers. Here, Travis Hunter, you didn't get into the top 12. The standard for Deion and everybody is get into the top 12. You came close, you were relevant, you're a wild success. But now here's the biggest trophy in the sport before we kick off, the Army, Navy over here, and just let's celebrate football during the holidays and eat too much and give and have bowl games on the televisions because everybody's about to get a little bit time off around the holidays. Travis Hunter and Colorado just achieved a seismic Heisman thing because
seismic Heisman thing, yeah.
To go from historically black college to the most famous coach in the sport and Travis Hunter holding up the big trophy. That's like just a monster achievement. Like monster achievement. And Travis Hunter is now getting a lot of dating advice from the entirety of the internet because people are warning him. Everybody's very comfortable, and he's pushing them off. Very comfortable. You got to get a prenup there. You can't just give yourself over to love. Do you know what is coming into your life right now as the number one pick, star of college football? The hood ornament on whatever Deion was doing. Hood ornament so huge, bigger than Deion's son, who might also be the number one quarterback taken. Like, just a giant achievement. What Deion and Travis Hunter have done. What do you make of the fact that the internet is now telling him he's got love all wrong after a video showed that his fiance what seemed to be a little bit bothered by the fact that he just had to sign a bunch of things and take a bunch of pictures and be famous. And now a whole lot of 50-year-olds, a whole lot of Sterling Sharps and everyone else, or Shannon Sharp, are coming in here and telling this young man where he needs to grow up around love. And I don't know where he is with this, but I have found interesting how
he's in love.
How invasive everyone is comfortable being on a kid's relationship. And them putting out everybody his business and her business on what the intimate details of their relationship is, because now she gets a fame too, but it's unpleasant. It's a really unpleasant fame. Like the fame that comes her way ends up being something like she's being judged from every corner of how it is she's supposed to be or serve Travis Hunter as whatever it is they view a relationship as. And I'm just asking the group what you make of how comfortable the internet is telling Travis Hunter how to live his life around love, giving him the advice of you got to get a prenuptial agreement, you got to protect your money, et cetera, et cetera.
The internet feels like they're experts on everything, and so I'm not surprised that they're doing this on the heels of Travis Hunter winning the Heisman and seeing his wife uncomfortable in certain situations. That comes with fiance. I'm sorry. That comes with the territory. They're in love. For me, and I can't believe I'm saying this, we're taking hot takes way too far. I mean, the kid won the Heisman Trophy, and we're going to start, just based on body language and reports, we're going to start talking about and giving him advice on his relationship with his fiance. He seems to know what he's doing, and he seems to have a great support system around him that's protecting him. He'll be fine.
Well, I would say there's been on camera a number of incidents already. It wasn't just once this weekend. So that's, I think, where people may be coming from. Also, like, Shannon Sharp has gone through the NFL. Like, he has experience in this area, you would think. So I'm not saying that they're necessarily judging him, but they may be telling him, hey, this is what I went through, just so you know.
We don't know these people. I think this is all like really weird. They're very young. I saw some of this on social media and I was like, that's enough social media today. I put my phone down. Yeah. I think it's weird to harass college athletes. I think it's weird to harass professional athletes about like their dating lives. We don't know them. it's gotten a little weird, and I would like to just ignore that it's happening.
Also, aside just from the Travis Hunter of it, like most people are not with who they were with when they were 20 years old. So, like statistically,
if you guys want to do a relationship show around this, I suppose that we can.
We don't. You're the person that introduced
no one
the
asked
topic.
for this.
No one wants
not a
to
single
do this.
person. Also, Travis Hunter was like the number one high school prospect going into college. Like he could have gone to college anywhere.
It started off good. I thought you were talking about, hey, you know, a kid winning the Heisman who's not on a playoff team, and then you brought it to a weird place. I mean,
well, you called him a loser from the jump.
Yeah.
All the gambits have just been off. Look, I don't like this either. I have my regrets over Brittany Mahomes conversations that I had when she was spraying champagne over Chiefs fans. But they were professionals. And I guess that's my rationalization. But it's from learning from that experience. I see this one, and like Billy mentioned, this has been a talking point for several months on the internet. Their relationship. They're very young, and I don't feel at all comfortable with it.
And Brittany Mahomes is a public figure now. Like this is, I think, a slightly different situation.
I also, on the record, want to say I love love.
Right. This is what Chad Johnson was saying. That's exactly what Chad Johnson was saying, and that's the way to go in this circumstance, certainly. I think we can all agree. Do you love love? And then at some point in the middle of that, Kansas City fans were booing that too. And the Mahomes family dynamics are all very complicated. But if we're going to sniff around in the lives of these public figures and make them professionals early, and they're going to make their relationships public, which is then going to make the mess come to them. The thing I'm asking about where it is this can devour young people in immature relationships. And I'm going to say immature relationships because I'm going to just simply assume that any relationship any of us had from 17 to 21 was probably a slightly immature relationship.
I think we're talking about this relationship too much and not Josh Allen and Haley Steinfeld relationship enough. Ever since they got engaged, life has been amazing for him. He's so tall. He's so good at football. He's
so
engaged
handsome.
to some like one of the most beautiful women and talented women in the world. We should talk about them.
Yeah. Fair enough. And you, as my chicken fry expert, because I know there's all sorts of gossip there, you explain to me what the difference is between the two things I'm doing here. You're doing, hey, I've got a TikTok addiction. I've got my chicken fry addiction. This is where I like to spend my gossip time enjoying somebody's personal life. And I'm telling you, there's a whole lot of internet doing it in Travis Hunter's relationship. Why is this one not as interesting to you?
I would say that Brianna Chicken Fry that's her whole brand has been take a look into my life. And I'm, bringing my friend to this public media company where the entirety of the content they do is here's what's going on in my life. And Brianna Chicken Fry has made a point to come out and make all these statements. There aren't things that are being taken from, private things in her life. She's going in front of a microphone and talking about all of this. So I think that sort of opens up the realm to be involved in this. But we're just not talking about how great of a couple Josh and Haley are.
Okay.
Oh, it makes me so happy for the both of them.
All right. I appreciate you doing that. And you are not wrong when you want to bring a lighter touch to all of this. So does Jeremy. Jeremy is insistent now. We've opened this particular portal. Now he's just farting and burping song all over the place because it's the job he's wanted all his life. Let me sing songs during the holidays to people. So he just whipped up a chicken fry song that I'm not very eager to hear.
You know Brianna Chicken Fry, sleeping over on a Friday night after Grace had made her cry and her friendship's gone. They was raised up beneath the shade of the Boston Garden and were besties, so Brianna's on TikTok creating a following and then a barstool show. She's dating Zach Bryan, now Grace is out, but there's no love lost between Grace and Brianna now. Cause Brianna Chicken Fry, sleeping over on a Friday night after Grace had made her cry and the friendship's gone. The Bring It Back plan breathe. But the plan
all right, I don't like what Jeremy and Lucy are doing to the show.
Yeah,
I'm just going to say it. You said you liked it before. Chris came in here and he brought me the chicken fry song. And I'm like, am I going to like that? And he's like, I don't know. Lucy likes it, though. She can't stop laughing. I'm like, do we want to trust that judgment? And he's like, yeah. And then we play it first.
Sorry for bringing positivity to the show.
But
Sorry
how
for
dare you?
supporting and loving my coworkers. I guess I won't do that anymore.
Doesn't get you very far around here.
Stugazzi, I want to tell you a story. I'm serious here. My wife and my 2 daughters, they begged me to buy a Peloton. So I bought a Peloton. And then I watched that Peloton sit in my office and stare at me. So you know what I did one day? I looked at it. And so I decided to get off my ass and I jumped on the Peloton because no one else was using it and I paid for it. I mean, so why not? Then I realized eventually that they bought it for me. And I got to tell you, way more challenging than I could have ever imagined. Peloton coaches are walking the walk. I love the coaches. I do the Grateful Dead one. It's fantastic. They have a sub 3-hour marathon runner, military trained athletes, a former college basketball player, and so many other well-rounded coaches on their team. All this experience really shows in their classes, which are never short of challenging, especially for me. So I jumped on it that first time. It was challenging, more challenging than I thought. And then I wanted to beat the bike, and so I kept jumping on it. And I absolutely love it. I mean, I'm the only one who uses it. But again, they got it for me. I mean, I had no idea. That's a little passive-aggressive, don't you think? Find your push, find your power with Peloton at onepeloton.com. Stugazzi here. Right now, my friends over at Simply Safe are extending their massive Black Friday deal for our Le Batard Show listeners. Simply Safe is the home security I trust to keep my home and family safe. I've been telling you that for years. This is your last chance to protect your home at Simply Safe's lowest prices of the year. Simply Safe is a new way to protect your home that stops intruders before they break into your home. Old school systems only take action once someone is already inside your home. That's too late. Simply Safe's Active Guard outdoor protection changes the game by preventing crime before it even happens. Simply Safe is extending its massive Black Friday deal for our listeners. This week only, you can take 50% off any new system with a select professional monitoring plan. This is your last chance to claim their best offer of the year. Head to simplysafe.com/DLB to claim your discount and make sure your home is safe this season. Don't wait. This offer won't last long. Keep your home, your family, and your peace of mind protected with Simply Safe. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
This episode is brought to you by Disney Plus. Game on, because ESPN Plus content is available on Disney Plus. You can watch your favorites from Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus together like never before. With ESPN Plus, unwrap a full day of NBA action on Christmas Day. Tip off the festivities with the Spurs and Knicks, followed by the Mavs and Timberwolves. Then a clash between the Lakers and Warriors, followed by the 76ers and Celtics. And finally, the Nuggets face off against the Suns, all streaming December 25th. Then with Hulu, watch the terrifying sci-fi thriller Alien Romulus, where a group of young space colonizers come face to face with the ultimate horror. And on Disney Plus, follow the adventures of 4 kids across the galaxy as they meet unlikely allies and enemies in Star Wars Skeleton Crew, starring Jude Law. All of these and more now streaming and available with a bundle subscription. Visit disneyplus.com for details. Terms apply.
Dan Le Batard.
I just heard a song that had Frank Sinatra singing from the window to the wall till the sweat drop off my balls.
Stugats.
The window to
we all heard
the
that, right?
walls till the sweat drops down my balls.
So what I'm saying here,
all these females crawl, singing, oh, skeet, skeet, goddamn.
Old Blue Eyes.
congratulations on your Suey nomination.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugats.
Just to put a bow on this Travis Hunter thing, Dan, if other people want to do all that stuff, they can do it. I feel like, personally, I don't need to do any of it. I'm not for me. Maybe for other people, not for me.
Okay, and so the reason that I ask all of the questions is because I have been almost fundamentally ill-prepared for whatever the internet age and social media age has wrought. So I don't actually know the world that Travis Hunter is headed into next, because he's probably been living in a version of this world that I don't understand for 3 or 4 years as, hey, Renegade team is going to go play for a little bit at Jackson State, And then they're going to go and make themselves first-round picks and go to Colorado, and then they're going to get to the fringe of college football. And they've been living famous and big next to Deion Sanders for a while. So maybe they're prepared for all of what comes next because they've got the perfect mentor in Deion Sanders to warn them at every turn. But all of it does seem dangerous from where I'm standing, like not understanding what fame is doing to 17 and 19-year-old kids as we fast forward how professional football is.
The internet is not great. It's tough to navigate, but I would say while you're having difficulty navigating it, Travis Hunter is like always streaming. Yeah. He is extremely online.
He lives there. Yeah.
He is pretty public with his relationship online. I'd say he's probably positioned much better than you, someone in your 50s, to navigate it.
I guess I don't understand like what's so dangerous about it and why it's different for Travis Hunter than anyone else in a relationship going through the same thing throughout history.
I mean, everybody has probably been in a relationship where they're dating someone and the friends feel some kind of way about it. This is kind of a version of that, only the friends are complete strangers. And there's thousands and thousands of them.
But friends to him, perhaps. Maybe. I mean, he spends all his time there.
Like we run into it all the time when we have events. People feel like they know us because we live between their ears. And I'm sure Travis Hunter, who's always streaming online, his fans that tune in to watch what he puts out there feel like they know him.
If I could tell you how many people that are strangers to me have come up to me, fans of the show, and said, you should get divorced. Huh.
My point is, and I will leave it, and we will go and enjoy the holidays with Cuban Santa in a moment. Just my just general point, perhaps this is the most obvious thing in the world that I'm saying nothing astute here. But holy shit, Travis Hunter, what a giant victory for you to go from historically black college to best player in college football as the hood ornament on that thing. God bless, what an achievement.
You're a writer, and it shows sometimes. I understand how you're coding everything by he went from an HBCU. This was the number one recruit in the country.
Yes. Wasn't he committed to FSU?
He had FSU, and on signing day,
he decided to go there.
Barstool and Deion Sanders made a huge show of making the number one guy go to Jackson State. So he's been a star, and has been dealing with the limelight for several years now.
Yeah, he was committed to Florida State, and I'll never forget it because when he decommitted, all these Florida State fans started burning their Deion jerseys. And there's one classic image of someone burning a framed Deion jersey. They're like, why would you not take it out of the picture frame?
How many, Billy?
Too many to shake a stick at.
Before we go to Cuban Tony at Flanagan's, at a bar on a Tuesday where we do a toy drive, I love that we're doing it this way. I just want to celebrate. Hey, Travis Hunter, you get to enjoy all of that for a second, no matter what the expectations were, because you guys did an enormous thing. I'm sorry the internet has climbed into your business as you're a star for the new age, the new Deion. You're the new Deion taught by Deion to head into football, and it's going to be so much fun to watch. That he met the expectations, because you tell me he was the number one pick. Go ahead and name all of the last 20 of those. Those don't always end up here. Like those don't. I'd bet against any number one pick I'm seeing doing what Travis Hunter just did to college football. Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you bet against that? Because I would bet. I'd think that the machine would eat up all the number one picks, and then occasionally it belches out a star in the top 10.
Well, to your point, Dan, yes, I think like what I've seen on the internet is sort of a lot of people assuming things about people they don't know and like making really kind of weird comments about people they don't know when it does feel like it should be a week to celebrate him and what a great football player he is. Obviously, he is also someone with internet celebrity and has sort of welcomed some of this fame into his life. Like, I understand that aspect of it, but like I, as a football fan and someone that's not super invested in his personal life, I'm not that interested in that conversation. I'm more interested in the football part of it, which is that he was the best. Yeah, right. What position is he going to play? Who's going to draft him? What's he going to do in the NFL? Like, who's going to win the Heisman next year? That conversation's already started. There's a lot of other stuff to me that's more interesting about it.
Okay, and so the place where it's most interesting to me, because I've seen Stugatz saw the Ball brothers sort of conquer an internet space, and his high school girls were super interested in that.
Now, you said number one pick. You mean number one recruit in the nation to go on and do this. So the last one to do that was Bryce Young, 2020.
Okay, and I'm sure you can name some. I would bet against all of that. But what I'm saying to you about having seen Dion's climb from, he was on the cover of Sports Illustrated, showed up at his last college games with a top hat in a tuxedo, 0.0 GPA, because he was telling all of us, I'm using college only to get to my fame. He has birthed this in the internet age, something that has lived on the internet for a while and for 4 years has been famous and has brought a whole bunch of kids who think they know him, that when they stand on that stage, holy shit, the Heisman ceremony means something to kids it didn't mean something to. Like that stuffy trophy room that he just barged into, he did it with an internet fame behind him that feels like it knows Travis Hunter and has known him for 3 years.
I hate that this story's around because I thought his speech was beautiful.
It was great.
I think it's a wonderful moment. I think it's really cool for Coach Prime. And as someone that found a mentor of his own, it speaks to the importance of mentorship and finding the right one to pave your way for success. And I really hate that this is hanging around the story because it's really cool.
I'm with Mike. What I saw during that speech was a kid, and I didn't know him, and I still don't know him, but that speech kind of gave you a peek inside to what he is all about.
It was authentic, too, off the cuff.
It was great. And you saw a grounded kid who said all the right things, acknowledged all the right people, Dan. Like, I think he's going to be fine moving forward. I think he has a good support system around him, and he's a good grounded kid.
I think it's impossible to know that because what he's headed into, I don't know that anyone has the tools for. Like maybe he gets through it.
He's navigated being the number one recruit in the nation and being a star that's delivered on Heisman hype. Like he's been able to handle it while being under a microscope so far. So I have no reason to doubt that he can handle being the number one pick because what does that come with? Expectation? You seem to be doing all right with that.
If we like the kid, and I think me and Mike like the kid, it's impossible not to like the kid. But if you like the kid, let's all pray together that he doesn't go to the Jets.
Under the Star of David.
Or the Bears.
Under the Star of David on a Christmas tree. Let's go out to Tony here because Tony is getting gifts now, and he is... He's Cuban Santa Tony, and he's at Flanagan's. And I ask everybody in South Florida to tell people, to run and tell people that Tony is here, and he's accepting toys for the next couple of hours at Flanagan's at the most legendary of all the Flanagans, 2721 Bird Road, Coconut Grove. Let's check in here with Tony now as we begin our toy drive. Tony, what are you doing out there? What information can you give me about what's happening at a bar on a Tuesday morning in Miami?
Yeah, Dan, slow morning right now for the toy drive, but we're here accepting all sorts of toys. Hold on, excuse me.
It's okay.
My beard is getting a little bit into my mouth when I talk.
It's that time of year. Yeah.
The hairs are a little longer than I would have liked. Yeah. So, again, we're going to be here on La 27 and Bird Road at the Flanagan's, the best one of all time, by the way. We got this box, but we're going to need a bigger box once more people come and bring us stuff. You going to bring something?
All right.
No?
Okay.
Well, thank you. All right. So, Dan, you can bring a bunch of unwrapped toys, whatever you want. We've got different ages. We've got younger kids that can go for like a Nerf ball or like an athletic ball or dolls or something like that, to older kids in middle school and high school that could be gift cards, cash, like Stugat said. I'll be able to take care of that.
Not cash. Take toys.
That's not. Hold on. I thought.
You can't
My bad.
accept
Oh,
cash.
that was different.
You cannot accept cash.
No,
Tony.
Stugat's texted me that one.
Tony, you
no,
can't do that
Stu
as
texted
Santa.
me that one. My bad.
You can.
Tony, you can't
No,
do
I
that
know.
as Santa.
I know.
That is the best looking Santa I've ever seen.
Tony, you can't be Cuban Santa and then saying, bring me cash and leaving with it in your pocket.
Sure you can.
No, Tony,
No.
you can't. Tony,
No.
Tony, you can't be on television asking people to bring you cash through a fake Santa beard. That's
Fake?
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
If you're out of town, go to branchesfl.org and you can donate some stuff there too. We'll be here hanging out till noon. Bring over any toys, any gift cards, no cash, but bring over that stuff. We'll be here hanging out.
Thank you, Tony. We will check back in again. We will check back in again and get to your top 5 in a second. You know what, Tony? Get yourself together. we'll come back to you. We'll make it technical difficulty because Santa's having a tough time with his beard on Tuesday at a bar.
Can you see the long hair here? It keeps getting into my mouth.
Yes, I can tell that you're not faking it. I can tell that this is it's not a bit.
Before we officially conclude our Heisman conversation, Jeremy had something he wanted to add to the fray.
Jesus.
Oh,
More songs.
No.
I'll be a homer for Christmas, voting for the Heisman Trophy.
Oh, this is about me. He sings about me here.
Give Cam Ward every award, even if he should definitely have just finished number 3.
I hate that song, obviously.
I hate all of them, being honest.
Is that a Christmas song?
I love that he's a resident song and dance man now.
I know, but we asked him to do Frosty. I still haven't heard Frosty. I mean,
I'm a little upset that everyone's having a go at Dan for voting Cam Ward number 1, especially when like the rationalization for Genty being the Heisman Trophy winners. Man, they game planned for him and they weren't able to stop him. Cool. No one was really able to stop Cam Ward either all season long, except for maybe the staff.
So, Mike, let me stop you here for a second because I erred this year. I really did. And I was actually, I considered it for a moment, and I should have done it, but I was too flippant about how I was voting. I should have called all of you and asked you how you would have voted on
Like
this.
Greg Cody does with me and my brother.
Yes, just like that. I should have called all of you and asked you how you would have voted because all I know is that I watched Cam Ward all year, and if you're better than any University of Miami thing that I've ever seen, and you're the only reason that your team is in a national conversation, you become just like Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter at the very least, but much better at offense. Like not a little bit better at offense, much better at offense. And so I just voted for what I watched in every game this season, which is more proficiency at that position than I'd ever seen in a University of Miami uniform at that position. But neither Lucy nor Jessica would have voted the way that I would have voted, and I would have asked all of you to vote, and how would you have voted? How would
I would have voted for Travis Hunter number 1.
Same.
I think applying the logic on Genty, like I said, I deduce that Cam Ward is just as unstoppable. And I think his team, the same argument. Where's Boise without Genty? Where's Miami without Cam Ward? So I would have gone Cam Ward number 2 and Genty number 3. It really bothered me that Dylan Gabriel finished ahead of Cam Ward. His best game is an average Cam Ward game. There's flatly, no disrespect to Dylan Gabriel. He's not as good as Cam Ward. The NFL draft prospects will bear that out. My eyes bore that out. So I think Cam Ward at 4 was a little disappointing, but Travis Hunter should have been number 1. And I understand why it was a close race. Genty's very impressive, too. It was a great Heisman year, but Travis Hunter deserved to win it.
The only thing I would say about voting him number 1 is that of the 901 first place votes, he got 6, which is not 6%, it's 0.6%. So,
well, that's why Jeremy sings that Homer song about me. That's why, let me hear it again.
You, Kevin Clark, Poppy. Who are the other 3?
Manny Navarro, for sure.
So Jessica, I want, okay, look. The rest of you, this happened before. Lucy wanted to hear the Chicken Fry song. It was funnier to her than to anybody. But nobody was laughing harder at braying Jeremy serenading in my face with hot breath. Dan's a homer, right in my face. Dan's a homer. No one enjoyed that more than Jessica, roaring with laughter in the back row. She had her hands in front of her face, and I could still see her teeth around her hands because she was laughing so much at this terrible song.
I'll be a homer for Christmas.
Enough.
Voting for the Heisman Trophy. Give Cam Ward every award, even even if he should definitely have just finished number 3.
How many Boise State games did you watch this year?
Yeah, that part's fair.
I mean, you have a Heisman vote.
That part's fair.
The photo of the 4 finalists was hilarious, and Dylan Gabriel is short, but the P4 size compared to a group of 5 size guy was really funny.
I will cop to this particular bias. Yes, of all the players who were anywhere around the Heisman, I only watched one of all of their games, but it was amazing. I'm like riding a bucking bronco against Duke and Wake Forest.
Now imagine if you saw the other ones
That's
play.
right.
I mean,
Can't even imagine how that blue field looked.
I feel like the argument for Gabriel is that he is QB rating wise right there with Cam Ward, threw as many touchdowns, but is just not going to give you the same type of style of play as Cam Ward. But I guess I could see why you would vote for him instead of Cam Ward when he played multiple top 25 defenses. Miami really didn't have those kinds of games this year.
It's a record thing. I think with Dylan Gabriel, you can point to stats. I understand. I mean, most of the stats, if you want to cherry pick just one stat for Dylan Gabriel, fine. Most of the stats would say Cam Ward's far superior. So it's just Cam Ward is flatly better than Dylan Gabriel, and he won the Davey O'Brien. I was pissed off that Gabriel got Maxwell finalists and not Cam Ward, but it's all right. We're splitting hairs here. Dylan Gabriel's going to be an all-timer when it's all said and done, when his career is all done and
whatever
dusted
that
after
is.
the CFP. Yeah, he's probably going to get 2 more years of eligibility.
I agree that Cam Ward is a great quarterback. That's why I said Miami's going to win all their games. They didn't. They disappointed me, but I thought he single-handedly could do it, and single-handedly he almost did.
Yeah, I mean he wasn't the reason he wasn't the reason that they lost
But
2 games.
his Heisman odds did go down after the Georgia Tech game. That was sort of the turning point on the season.
Yeah, if he was undefeated, do you think he would have won it?
If he played better in that game, I think it would have given him a lot of momentum into the ACC championship weekend, which I think a lot of people, their last thing that they saw was Genty putting up these ridiculous stats in championship weekend. Travis Hunter, his last couple games of the season, he had outstanding games. So, yeah, I think it helps having momentum in the last half of the season. And Miami definitely didn't have that. Cam Ward, I think, was maybe a little bit of a victim of that.
You guys aren't doing something that I did here, and I ask you because I'm genuinely curious, and it's one of the reasons that I should have asked you. I wasn't penalizing Cam Ward. Now, you guys are saying, what would it have been if Cam Ward had been undefeated? I'm asking you this question. If the Syracuse game goes the way that it needed to for him to have the Heisman moments that I'm always telling you these guys have to have, at the end of the Syracuse game, when it's his own coach denying him the ability to have both the Heisman moments of, let's see if I can convert this on 4th and 9, and let's see if I can get the 2-point conversion on the road to get my team into the playoff. I ask you the question, do you factor in at all that his own coach denied him the moments at the end he would have needed
curious.
for the story?
My argument watching that Syracuse game back, and I did that, I think we blew that game trying to get Cam Ward the Heisman because we were averaging 6 yards a carry in that game. And people say 21-0. They scored right away. So a 2-touchdown lead, you salt the game away.
And this is a rule, Dan. You can't have your Heisman moment come against Syracuse. You just can't. I mean, Heisman moments don't happen against Syracuse.
Cam Ward had 6 first-place votes. Travis Hunter had 552. I do not think 546 people were swayed by that play.
Yeah, no, probably not. I'm going to tell you guys.
Who was Travis Hunter's Heisman moment against?
I have no idea. Yeah.
I'm going to tell you guys now.
Not Syracuse.
You guys know that...
What happened?
Nah, I'm too late. Nah, I've just bailed on it. It's just, my brain froze. Travis Homer's still in the NFL. I'll leave.
It's that time of year.
Yeah, I'm just going to go home for the year.
But what happened?
I'll see you guys next year. Because I was positive it was Travis Homer, and then there was Travis Hunter, and I'm like, I'm going to say the name wrong, so I'm just going to say nothing, and you guys normally just you're an idiot, and you keep talking, and then no one spoke. Yeah. And then it became awkward, and I figured, well, someone's going to make it less awkward. Yeah.
I wasn't too clear it was my fault.
Okay,
my bad.
Yeah. No, it wasn't yours.
No.
It's Dan really.
Let me tell you the gift that you just gave me, because
I'm not even making this up. I'm trying to throw it to the toy drive, but Cuban Santa's got hair in his lips. And as you're talking to me, like, because I'm like, okay, I can just toss the show to Billy, right? I hear from Lewis in my headset, don't go back to Cuban Santa. Don't go back to Cuban Santa.
I heard that too. That's why I got distracted.
Howdy, folks. It's Mike. And guess what? It's Miller time. The holiday season brings around lots of joy and also lots of family gatherings at your home. You're inviting people in there and you want to make sure they're happy. Why don't you make their time at your place a Miller time? Pass around that beautiful white can of triple hops brewed Miller Lite and watch the smiles adorn those faces. Make Miller Lite the official drink, the official beverage of your holiday get-together. You know why? Because it is a perfect beer for the holiday season. You'll take a sip, you'll look around, and you'll think immediately, yeah, I made the right call. It's got taste that you can depend on. No games, no gimmicks, just great beer for people who like beer. Making memories at year-end gatherings? Tastes like Miller time! Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you. Or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. Fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer.